Gruger, what's going on?
Hey, Egg, what's up?
Happy Thursday.
Same to you.
We got a lot to talk about.
2 weeks worth of stuff.
Yeah, 2 weeks worth of stuff. I mean, we could spend
Re-entry Thursday.
Re-entry Thursday. We could spend a whole podcast talking about just what happened Wednesday night in the NBA alone.
Yeah.
I mean, what a night. You want to start there?
Sure. Let's go for it.
Yeah, let's jump right into it. So thank you for everyone who's listening out there. I have a feeling this is going to be a popular podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy night in the NBA. Let's talk about the Warriors first.
Yep.
They broke the record.
They did.
So I can't remember when we went on record saying they would break the record, or if we even ever did say it.
I don't think we were very early to the party.
Maybe 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
I think 3 or 4 weeks ago we said, all right, I think you're going to do it.
I think they're going to do it. So they did it. They handled the Memphis Grizzlies pretty easily last night. And Steph Curry, pours in 46 points.
Yep.
10 3-pointers.
I believe 400 for the year.
402 on the year. I checked the stats today. He played in 79 of the possible 82 regular season games.
Yep.
So that came out to a little over 5 3-pointers per game.
5 made.
5 made.
Yeah.
Just so I want to get these stats right. He made 402 threes on the year. He took 886 3-point shots, 45%. Shot about 56% from 2-point land.
Yep.
Finished with a field goal percentage of 50% on the year. And just we'll go back to the Warriors in a second. We'll sing out Curry for now. Free throws, 90.8%. Averaged over 5 rebounds a game.
Really?
Averaged 2 steals a game. And he averaged almost 7 assists a game, 6.7. And, points, about 30 points a game. He's got to be the MVP, right?
Absolutely.
The team wins 73
100%.
games. So back to the Warriors. I texted you before the game started, and I said, I'm got to be honest, I don't want the Warriors to win. And I don't know why. I just have I'm of the opinion that if the Bulls 72-10 team played the Warriors 73-9 team, the Bulls would win.
Yep.
And I think they would win by double digits.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my take, and I feel like I don't know. Though don't get me wrong, they win 73 of a possible 82. And to be honest with you, some of they shouldn't have lost to the Timberwolves.
Correct.
There were maybe 3 or 4 games.
Honestly, look at it. They probably shouldn't have lost to the Celtics at home.
They should have won 75 games.
Yep.
And you could almost say they should have finished like 77-5.
That would have been just blown away.
But then you know what? After they broke the record, I wonder if Kerr probably would have rested them.
Probably.
They would have had the record earlier.
If they were like 73-3, they would have just said, all right, we're going to shut her down.
Yes. So they beat the Bulls record. Only the second team ever to win 70 games.
Mm-hmm.
Very impressive. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out because I didn't watch the game. 10:30 start local time. I didn't see a single minute of it. Steph Curry, though, in the highlights, he looked locked in.
Yep.
He looked focused, and when he's focused, it's a scary thing.
Very.
I think he had 5 or 6 3-pointers in the first quarter alone. Mm-hmm. How is this going to affect them in the playoffs, if at all? Because they won the championship last year. They went through the first round, so they made it all the way through the finals.
Yep.
Then it's a shorter off season. Then you've got I don't want to say the pressure, but the intensity of going after this wins record all season. It took him up to the last game.
And Curry even admitted he thought it got to some guys. Or got to guys, but got to the play of the team.
Yeah.
When they lost to the Celtics and when they lost to the Timberwolves, he said that they thought they were kind of slipping a little bit and maybe it was starting to get to them. And
yeah. So I'm curious to see if, let me pose it. Would it, and I don't know if this is possible, could they lose more games in the playoffs than they did in the regular season? Like you say, each series went to 7 games. That's what, 3 losses, 3, 6, 9, get to the finals.
Yeah.
So you could end up with more losses. I don't think that's going to happen.
It's like the Celtics, the 2008 Celtics. I think they won their first 3 series in 7 games.
Yeah.
So they really only went 4-3 each series.
Yeah. They got the Rockets in the first round.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens there. But interesting. And what's your overall take on the team, on the 73 wins? I mean, did you stay up and watch the game?
I did not stay up and watch the game.
Does it excite you?
The 73 wins?
Yeah. Are you impressed?
I am very impressed.
Yeah.
Did it excite me to an extent? No, because I didn't think. I mean, once I got 72, I thought it was no. I was more excited building up to it. They weren't going to lose last night.
It would have been more fun if it was like the Spurs and San Antonio.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
But they weren't going to lose to the Memphis Grizzlies at home on the last night of the season. You get a little break. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
I heard this morning. If you were a betting man, would you take the Warriors or would you take the field to win the NBA championship?
To state for the record, I am not a betting man.
Yep. Neither am I.
Well, fantasy, football, and baseball. That's a great question.
Yeah.
What would you take?
I might take the field only because I believe in the Spurs.
So let's narrow it down. Let's be realistic.
Yep.
It's going to be the Warriors,
Spurs.
the Spurs, or the Cavs.
Cavs, yep.
Nobody else from the East, unless LeBron James. And I want to talk about him.
Yep.
We're going to go heavy basketball for the next few minutes, but I want to talk about LeBron specifically. Those 3 teams, I don't believe in the Clippers. The Thunder can't seem to get their shit together. I'm not jumping on the Celtics bandwagon or the Raptors.
You're not going to the NBA Finals?
I don't think so. Miami, I think Miami is really talented, but they just maybe D Wade turns it on in the playoffs, But I just see Cleveland. That's okay. So I'll talk about LeBron. I see him taking it to another level.
I think he's kind of already started to do that.
He has, and unfortunately, he's got that switch that you can turn off and on, and not many people can do that. And he can turn it off, and when he wants to turn it back on, he can freaking rev that engine and go.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about it today, and and we've hated on him, right?
Yep.
Because the Warriors and Steph Curry have been getting all of the attention. Think of this dream scenario that he is in right now. He's in a no-lose situation.
Absolutely.
He has the chance to really prove that he is the greatest of all time. He has a chance to carry his team to the finals where they're probably going to meet the Warriors. And he has a chance to beat the team that just broke the defending champion.
Yep.
Who beat you. And you have the team that broke the wins record. And my prediction right now, I would say Cleveland beats the Warriors in the finals this year.
Whoa.
Yes, and I think LeBron is going to go for like 40 and 15 and 10. Like he's going to average something ridiculous. And you'll probably get those stupid ass comments from him after the game.
Yeah.
But he is going to be stone-faced and focused, and he's going to play every GD minute. And I got this feeling that he is just he's like, all right, you guys had your time. This is where I'm going to.
I think looking back, I think the Cavaliers were just bored with the regular season. I mean, realistically, what were they playing for? I mean, they never really relinquished the top spot in the East. Like the Raptors got close, but did you ever feel like the Raptors were going to overtake them?
No.
And they were never really that close to catching the Warriors to get the best overall record, so you knew that wasn't going to happen. So. Yeah. Or the Spurs for that. So they knew whoever's coming out of the West is probably going to have home court.
Yeah.
So I think they were just bored.
Yeah.
I mean, and when LeBron gets bored, he gets really, really weird on Instagram and, Twitter. And
he does get. I unfollowed him on Instagram because he was weirding me out big time. But so we jumped around a little bit. Warriors get to 73 wins. Steph Curry gets to 402 3-pointers on the season, which just think about that. 400 3-pointers in less than 80 games. Nobody's ever... did anyone ever reach 300?
I don't think so.
He broke his own record, which was like 260-something, I think.
Yeah.
He got the 300. Then he got the 400, which is just, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. All right, so that's
Did someone retire last night?
save the best for last. Well, we also talked about this off the air, and before we get into Black Mamba or whatever the hell he calls himself. Last night was interesting too because in the Western Conference you had the Rockets and the Jazz battling essentially.
And I almost texted you.
Yeah.
I thought one of the more intriguing what would have been intriguing with the whole Kobe Bryant retirement is if the Jazz were playing for that last playoff spot. Now, by the time the game started, the Rockets already beat the crap out of the Kings.
Okay.
So they already knew that they weren't in. But if the Rockets had lost and the Jazz, you know what I'm saying? All the talk was about Kobe. The Jazz might have had a chance to play for a last playoff spot.
I didn't check this, but did the Lakers winning last night have any effect on their seeding for
No,
worst
I don't think
record?
so. No.
So they were locked into the second worst or something.
The
They didn't go from
76ers had 10 wins and they were at 16.
so
But low enough also to not go to number 3.
Okay, because that would have been hilarious.
Yeah.
All right, so the seeding was up for grabs in the Eastern Conference. 3, 4, 5, and 6 seeds were all to be determined, and it was weird, funky algebraic math.
Yeah.
That the Celtics win and beat the Heat, but the Heat get the 3 seed. The Hawks end up losing.
They lose to the Warriors.
So the Heat and the Heat and the Hawks both lose last night,
and
but
they go up a seed.
and they all went up a seed, which I don't.
And the Wizards played nobody. Everyone was out. That's who the Hawks played.
Really.
The Wizards played no one.
All right, so you end up with Miami in the 3 seed, the Hawks 4, Celtics 5, and
Hornets.
the Hornets 6 seed. I think I predicted the Celtics would finish 4th in the
You said they were a top 4 seed.
top
correct?
4 seed, so I was off by 1. Last year, I think they got the 8th seed,
7.
7.
Yeah.
Who's won?
Hawks. And
That's
the
right,
Cavs.
they were
Remember the Hawks won 60 games last year?
Yes, that is correct. Yeah. Okay. So the Celtics went from 7, so they're improving.
Yep.
Expectations for the Celtics probably get through the first round.
Yep.
Although Atlanta will be a tough matchup.
And I was just listening on the radio. They are a heavy favorite according to Las Vegas.
Are they really?
Yeah.
More fuel to the fire.
Yeah.
The Celtics have been playing real funky lately.
Yeah.
I went to bed at halftime of the game last night, and they were down by 20-something.
Yep.
And then I wake up in the morning, and I check the box score, and they win,
Yeah.
and they outscored the Heat 25-5
They
in the
scored
third
5 points in the third quarter.
So, funky game, but we'll see what happens.
Weird end to the year for the Celtics.
Yeah, it was.
You look back. So they had the West Coast trip. They go to Phoenix. You should win there. Get your butts kicked by the Clippers. So be it. In Los Angeles, lose a tough one to Portland. Okay, tough place to play. Go to Golden State and win.
Yeah.
Go to Lakers and win. Need to do that.
It's a program win.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Go to the Lakers and win. Then you come home and play some middle-of-the-road Eastern Conference teams, get a couple wins. Then you go play 2 playoff teams and get your butts kicked. It was you look back and you're like, even though there were some good wins in there, they really finished 8-8, which was weird.
Roller coaster of emotions because you're like, wow, they beat the Warriors.
Yeah.
These guys could sneak up on people.
Yeah.
And then it's like they lose to.
They got their butts kicked by the Hornets at
Yeah,
home.
and you're like, oh, wait a second.
Maybe they're not ready for the playoffs.
Yeah, maybe they're not that good. So, all right. So last night was also the final game in Kobe Bryant's 20-year career.
Yep.
All 20 with the Lakers. There were rumors here and there that he would be traded. I think he was a free agent 1 year a while back.
Chicago, yeah.
Clippers. He was thinking of
Clippers,
join
yeah.
the Clippers. The Hornets, Charlotte Hornets, originally drafted him
Correct.
way back when.
Whoops.
So I wake up this morning and I check the box score. And I don't see any headlines. I just check the box score.
Yep.
And I see 60 points
Yeah.
for Kobe Bryant. And I go, holy crap. And then I keep reading the box score. And I'm like, holy crap. My man took 50
shots.
My man took 50 shots last night. 21 of which, or 22 of which, were 3-pointers. So he only made 6 of them.
Yep.
Played 42 minutes. I saw highlights. LA fans were eating it up and loving it. But, man, you shoot 13 free throws, take 50 shots from the field, Man, you better finish with 150 points, not 50. Holy smokes.
So I woke up in the morning and I saw it. I don't know where I saw it. And I saw Kobe goes for 60 and win. And I'm like, that's got to be a lie. Because I was assuming he would just do what he's been doing and play 10 minutes, walk off the court, wave, and,
Oh, no.
that's it.
No.
And then they go, on 50 shots, I almost spit up my cereal. I go, 50? She took 50 shots?
Yeah.
I think the team took 70.
Oh, man, it was it's funny because isn't it just ironic on the same night, on the same network, ESPN and ESPN2.
Yep.
You had the Warriors on ESPN.
Yep.
Going after the team record of 73 wins.
Yeah.
Defending champions of the league. And you have on ESPN2 the second worst team in the NBA.
The 16 and 65 Los Angeles Lakers.
With one of the most selfish players, of all time. Right?
And the Warriors game got much better ratings.
Did
too.
they?
Yeah.
But you just couldn't be two different sides of the spec. Like,
Yeah.
the meanings of both games couldn't have been more opposite. And the Lakers fans were eating it up, and I laughed. And the more I think about it, that's a perfect way for Kobe to go out. The only way it would have made it better was if him helping them win cost them
a spot in the
draft. In the draft because they won and they jumped like ahead of somebody.
3 as opposed to a 2.
Yeah, so I just thought it was a fitting ending. 50 shots, man, oh man.
I couldn't. I truly thought he was just going to play 8 minutes. And
Yeah.
Kiss, shake
saving
hands,
up.
kiss babies, and he played 40. I saw the 50 shots. I almost shot my pants.
50 shots in 42 minutes. That's unbelievable. Oh God, that is just it's one of those things that good for him. Oldest player to ever score 60 points in a game. Oldest player to ever score 50. Hey, let me ask you a question about Kobe though, and we'll finish on this because before I ask the question, I don't watch ESPN anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I don't go to ESPN's website.
You're not missing much.
I'm so it's on at the gym sometimes when I go. But and we've talked about it's turning into like e-news and Entertainment Tonight and all this crap. But I heard them talking on the radio today saying how ESPN and SportsCenter was leading with Kobe this morning.
Yeah.
Instead of the Warriors. And I don't know if that's true. I hope it's not, but that perplexed me. Let me ask you this: What's Kobe's legacy to us? What is it? Does he like what do you? What do you think? Like, what does he mean to you, if anything, as a fan, not personally,
So, he was never a guy that I would tune in to watch a game just because he's playing.
Okay.
That's
As much as I hate LeBron, hate's a strong word. As much as LeBron confuses me,
yeah,
I will watch a game when he's playing.
yeah, exactly.
Steph Curry, I
Yep.
will watch Steph Curry play.
Yep. And you know what? It was funny. I was thinking about this last night when I was watching the Celtics, and I was Dwayne Wade, and I was thinking. First of all, I was watching them play, and I sent you that text. I wanted them to play the Heat so bad because I wanted the Celtics to be a part of the demise of Dwayne Wade. He just bothers me. He just ISO this, ISO that. He was airballing. But, I thought about it. I said, I go, all right, so I'm sitting there thinking, all right, so whatever I say about Dwayne Wade, he's a Hall of Famer. He's a great player. He's won 3 championships. But he was never a guy that I'd wanted to watch the Miami Heat to watch Dwayne Wade play.
Yeah.
He's a good player,
Yeah.
So that's kind of my lasting legacy. They talk about guys like Rivera and Jeter and guys, and Kobe, and they threw Peyton Manning in there. Like you would watch the end of Yankees games to watch Mariano Rivera pitch.
Yes.
And you would watch Derek Jeter hit.
Yeah.
And we'd watch Colts game because Peyton Manning was playing quarterback.
Yeah.
To an extent, you know what I'm saying? I never stayed up late to watch the Lakers just to watch Kobe Bryant play.
Yeah.
I'll say, hey, I'll watch the highlights.
Yeah, I think I think the fact that I went to bed at halftime of the Celtics game and didn't stay up to watch Kobe play his last game.
And look, you know what? He probably does. He deserved it. That's fine. And Lakers fans loved it and all that, and NBA fans. I had no interest in staying up and watching it.
Yeah,
it just didn't excite me.
If I did stay up, I would have watched the Warriors.
Yeah,
but yeah, no. So very interesting. Can't sleep on the Spurs. I don't know. Is this the year that Doc and the Clippers, turn the page and become, they get there? Who knows?
Don't you feel like the Clippers are going to look back 5-10 years from now and just look back, and ultimately they're going to look back in this time, and after watching the first 30 years of their franchise, this is great. This is like the golden years, even though they're not winning titles. But they're like, man, we were really good, but we were in a conference with some of the best teams ever. The Warriors the last 2 years, the Spurs before that, Thunder. I mean, they're like, God, we can't catch a break.
Yeah. Just because we just brought up Doc Rivers, I want to switch gears over to hockey.
Yep.
And we'll talk a little Bruins. And I think we talked the black and gold, or the Bruins
hockey team. Okay.
Yeah, they missed the playoffs, but we talked on a podcast or two ago how the expectations going into the season weren't high for the Bruins.
No, they probably finished about where people thought they would.
Right, but
it was just a crash landing that they had.
Right,
Yeah.
and a second year in a row. I don't even remember last year, but I think they lost 3 games in a row and they missed the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
Something. So Don Sweeney, the new GM of the Bruins.
Did you listen to that press conference today?
I did, and I want to bring up. I don't have the exact quote.
Yep.
But it was Don Sweeney and it was Claude Julien.
Yep.
And basically, it was a recap of the season, and it was an announcement to say, he's our guy.
Yep.
Julian's our guy heading into next year. He still has 2 years left on his deal, which I didn't realize. But the Ottawa Senators' job had opened up, and
the Canadiens' job might open up.
Right. So, which is ironic because the Ottawa so Julian's from Ottawa.
I was going to say he's from there, right?
Yeah. They beat the Bruins 6-1 on Saturday
Beat
to put the icing on the cake to end their season, and so there were rumors that as soon as Julian got let go, the Ottawa would come calling.
Yep.
The news conference today was a little, it was some good things and bad things about it, but one thing that caught my attention was when Julian said something to the fact, paraphrasing, that he doesn't mind and he respects and appreciates the fact that people will remember him for being the winningest coach in Bruins history, but he wants to be remembered for more. And he basically said he doesn't want to be remembered for being the guy that left, basically when things got tough.
Yeah.
And he said he went through this rebuilding thing, kind of get it straight and figure it out 9 years ago when he jumped on board, and he said, he's in to do it again, to turn things around.
Yeah.
And he said it, and I wish I had the exact quote because I may have just screwed that up royally, but when he said it, I instantly thought of Doc Rivers.
Okay.
And
he just said, no, I'm not in for the rebuild.
Yes, for the Celtics, yes, Doc went through a couple rough seasons. Celtics rewarded him, got him the big 3. They got to the finals a few times, got 1 ring.
Yep. But when Doc went through those first couple years, he was still kind of establishing himself. Like, he had been a coach but he wasn't Doc Rivers NBA champion.
Right, but
you know what I'm saying? So like he didn't have the cachet to not go through the tough early seasons at that time.
Right, but I guess neither. But to me, that doesn't.
I'm not saying I'm not.
No,
arguing
that doesn't.
With it.
Doesn't. That's null and void. I think to the point I'm trying to make is when they both got to the same situation that Julian is in now.
Yep.
Right, and if Julian got fired, he would have a job within an hour. Mm-hmm. He could pick and choose where he wanted to go.
Yep.
And Doc Rivers, when he left the Celtics, he pretty much was in the same position.
Yeah.
And I just think what impressed me today was Claude coming out and saying, no, I'm here to turn things around. Just because we have to go through a little bit of a rebuilding and reshape the roster and change some things, I'm not going anywhere. And Rivers was more or less like, no, I went through this thing once before. I'm chasing the ring. I'm going to L.A. I'm getting more money. I'm going with all the all-stars, the superstars, because I'm going to have a better chance of winning there than I would here. And I don't think Julian, didn't. Here's the thing. It wouldn't surprise me because everything's PR driven.
Mm-hmm.
If that press conference was rehearsed or there were some PR people telling them, this is Boston, this is what you have to say, and, feeding him lines a little bit.
Yeah, no, I think they do that all the time.
And if not, then it was just a coincidence. But I couldn't help listening, think of the comparison. And listen, I'm not a big hockey guy. I'm not a big Claude Julien. I know he's a good coach. He won a Stanley Cup.
Seems like a good guy. Everyone said he's a great person. You know.
Do I think he should have been fired? I think things run their course. Maybe they should have parted ways.
Yeah.
But he's here, and whatever. I respect him more after that what he said today, and I just talked
now just going back to the Doc Rivers Claude thing, and I don't know the NHL that well, but and I don't even know if this is an argument against it, but I feel like rebuilds in the NHL, like in the NBA, they're dramatic rebuilds. Mm-hmm. Maybe in the NHL they're not as dramatic. Better chance to get in the playoffs. Like rather than the point is that usually in the NBA you have to bottom out to get back up. I don't know if that happens in the NHL as much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Look, in regards to the Claude thing, a lot of people are very passionate either way. I don't think he's hurting you or help. Like I don't think if you all of a sudden are a top 3 seed next year, I don't think it's because of Claude Julien, and I don't necessarily think because you guys are struggling now. It's because you know what I'm saying. I think he's a good coach. My first when they said that he was coming back, the first thing that popped into my head is that they're worried he's going to go somewhere else in the division, Ottawa, Montreal, as an example, and do a really good job there.
Why would that matter though? Like so they would make them look bad because they let him go?
I think they're just I think so.
Okay.
Because he's going to go somewhere and probably be pretty good at it. You know what I'm saying?
But don't you agree, too? I mean, listen, Terry Francona, I wish he was still the manager of the Red Sox, but things run their course.
I talked to Mike about this on Monday. I said, hey, look, I don't necessarily think he was a bad coach, but I think at just some point, it's just time.
10 years.
Yeah.
Whether it's like a sporting event, like a special Dr. Walker.
And and he knows, and Terry Francona knew when you just couldn't get through to the guys the way you used to be able to, you know. I don't know. Maybe they kind of explored it at the end of the year and found out there's really not much better options out there.
Yeah.
Maybe they're cheap and they just don't want to not pay them. You know, they say, well, if we're going to pay you, might as well coach us.
Dr. Walker, sport management at Winnick, she always said, for like the Midnight Madness, those things run their course, and it's usually a 10-year span.
Yeah.
And whether or not you can apply that to, it's still sports, but to coaching or managing, who knows? Now, the other thing that I want to talk about, too, with hockey, actually 2 points.
Actually, can I just –
Yeah.
The press conference, the one thing that made me chuckle was basically they asked Sweeney about the collapses of the last 2 years. Last year was a little more quick. It was like 3 really bad losses. This year was more like 3-10 in the last 13. And he goes, well, if you really take out our first 3 games this year, which they all lost, and I believe they lost the first 3 games all at home, and the last 13 games, we racked up a ton of points. And I'm like, but that's the point. Like, that's the whole point.
If you take out the bad part.
Yeah, if you take out the bad part at the end and the beginning, in that middle there, we were really good, and we racked up a ton of points. It was just, I don't know. I do find it. I read a rumor today that Cam Neely might be on the chopping block.
Oh, really?
Which great hockey player, but he always struck me when he talks on the radio or television. Very arrogant guy.
Yeah.
And I feel like it would bring him down a rung if they fired him.
Tuukka Rask missed the game because he was sick. He had diarrhea. They sent him home. And I guess he has a history of missing some big games. I guess in the Olympics.
Missed the semifinal game?
I don't remember which game. And he is Swedish, I believe.
Finn.
Oh, what? Finnish?
Yeah.
Finnish?
Finnish, I think it is. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
could
Finn.
Be wrong, though.
But he missed a big game for that.
Yep.
And, Michael Hawley, especially on Dale and Hawley, EEI, was, questioning whether or not he's got, if there's something there. And they bring up a good point. You can't really, I can't sit here and say, you're sick, but you have to.
Yep.
But the point Hawley was making was hockey fans.
They thrive off that toughness.
Yeah,
hockey players always play. They get hit in the face and they play.
Yeah, they lose all their teeth.
And they lose noses. And
they play.
Yeah.
And then you've got this goalie who, he's got a poopy pants, and he.
Is it confirmed he had diarrhea?
Dale Arnold said he had diarrhea.
Look, first thing first.
Yeah.
Tuukka Rask might be one of the most overrated athletes in Boston sports history.
Really? Okay. He has shown moments.
He's done nothing.
They got to the finals
Yes, he
with
did,
him,
in
but they
2013.
lost, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I don't remember last year, but people are talking on the radio.
Look, I was at work when the game started, and I read something about it on a little break I had, and I immediately texted someone, and I said, "Man, he might be very sick. For all I know, he's very sick, but this is a bad look. This is a bad look." And I went to work the next morning, and every Sunday morning on WEI they have a Bruins show, and DJ Bean, who does Bruins for the WEI, had multiple sources tell him there was no way Tuukka Rask was playing in that game. Just physically could not do it. And I still said, God, that's a bad, bad look.
Yeah.
I don't
just
care.
with everything like
that's just a really bad, bad look.
Yeah. So that concludes our Bruins talk. They missed the playoffs. Maybe next year, who knows what will happen. Okay, so let's talk a little before we get into baseball, because I want to get your thoughts on opening day. You went to opening day. Did you see any of the Masters?
I didn't see any of the choke job.
All right, so I sat down. I actually started watching the Masters on the final round on Sunday.
Yep.
Probably pretty early. Jordan Spieth was on like the fourth or fifth hole,
Mm-hmm.
and the front nine. He finishes like with 4 birdies in a row.
Yeah.
And he's like 7 under, and he's got a 5-stroke lead.
He's just cruising.
It was boring, but I was watching it because Jordan Spieth is one of those guys that will make me watch. He heads into the back 9, bogey. Lead gets cut down to 3 or 4 strokes, or 2 or 3. I think 2 or 3 strokes.
Yep.
Next thing you know, a par 3. Hole 12th hole. And Jordan Spieth, defending Masters champion, he's cruising.
Yep.
If I was him, you start thinking about back-to-back, baby.
Yeah.
I am the man. I almost texted you or somebody and said, this kid is the next.
Yeah. Next
big thing. He's like 22. Man, he gets to that 12th hole. First, off the tee.
Kerplunk.
In the water. Pulls an Eric. Big
Yeah.
time. All right, so he drops it. 3rd stroke already, par 3. And he duffs the ever-loving crap out of it. Like, he duffed it so bad, it almost didn't make it back to the water.
Yeah.
Because he probably dropped it in between the where he teed off and the water.
Yeah.
And, man, he almost didn't make the water. So then you drop again. You're on the 5th shot.
Yeah.
And he's already at a double bogey, even if he sinks it. And he hits it into the sand trap. And I'm just like, this is like those commercials.
Yeah.
You got to get away or whatever, embarrassing moments. And I'm like, holy. He quadruple bogeys the hole, gets a 7. And he goes from a 2 or 3 stroke lead to like 4th place. And I'm just, Danny Willett, or whatever the kid's name is, who ended up winning the Masters. Man, he was on a roll and he finished solid, but one of the bigger collapses I've ever seen in sports.
Isn't it weird because Spieth's won a couple Masters, but he's also been a part of a couple of the biggest choke jobs. Last year after the I think it was in the US Open, he had a huge lead going in and lost it.
I thought he won that. I thought Dustin Johnson missed the putts on that.
No, there was
two opens.
There was a major that he lost last year with a big lead.
I don't remember that.
Not as dramatic as the Masters this year, but like he was coming down the final 9, shaking hands, kissing babies, saying I got myself another major. Yeah. But he's such a good player and he's already won a couple majors, And he's what, 22 you said?
22. Racked in a cool like 50 something million last year. The kid still I hope he's okay.
Well,
and
I hope majors.
So, but I hope this could go either way, right?
This could be really bad.
At his age, this is gonna prove a lot about Jordan Spieth because he is either going to be a mental midget
Yep.
and freaking collapse under the pressure, or he's going to look back and say, I had a lapse for one freaking hole.
Yeah.
I took my mind off of what I should have been focusing on, and he's going to use this to just go out and absolutely dominate. Although golf is one of those sports where, like, the harder you try,
Yeah.
the worse
Well,
you do.
You're right. He could look at it one way or look at it and say, hey, I played 72 holes and I was really good for 71 of them, and one of them I was horrifically bad.
I didn't see it afterwards, but with the Masters, they got the green jacket, and the previous year's winner
Has to give it to him.
has to like put it on
Yeah.
the new winner. So there you have Jordan Spieth, who won it last year, putting the green jacket on Danny Willett.
Yeah.
And there's just some funny pictures online of Jordan Spieth standing in the background, just with this look on his face like, oh, I blew it. I blew it. But
So if you have a back-to-back winner, who puts it on him? The guy before it?
puts it on himself. I don't know. That's a good question.
Tiger must have won back-to-back at some point, no?
He may have. I'm not good with golf records. I don't know. All right, so golf, hockey, basketball. A lot going on in football, but I don't really. I don't want to get into that because I want to talk Red Sox and I want to talk baseball. You went to opening day.
Correct.
I missed it this year, but Pizzy.
Yep. Pizzy was there.
Did Pizzy
Richardson.
bring like the entire town of?
No, it was just us three.
Budweiser roof deck.
No, we were right next to the State Street Pavilion. So third base side, about the same level, but like the suites.
Oh yeah.
We were in the standing room right by them.
Oh really?
Yep.
How was it?
It was good. It was good. It was windy. It was really windy. Temperature was good though. Good view. Good everything.
Yeah.
Enjoyable day.
Did you cry when David Ortiz's daughter came out? Because
You know what? It's funny is
Your eyes
so
got
we
watery.
probably just walked in at about that time,
Oh, really?
and a little before.
Yeah.
And they bring her out, and I don't know, for some reason I'm thinking, oh, they're just bringing her out because she's Poppy's daughter, and I thought she'd basically talk the national anthem, and
Yeah.
she was really, really good.
she did a great job.
Yeah, she did a great job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alex Ortiz.
Yeah, it was really good. The pregame ceremonies, it was funny. We were chuckling because when they did the first pitch, it was Poppy or Russell and Ty Law, and then Wakefield and Veritek were there, and we were talking about how guys like Wakefield, Veritek, Ty Law, they're always like, hey, I feel like they call other teams like, hey, if you need a puck drop or a first pitch, I'm available. They're always at everything.
Yeah, Ty Law, very good Patriot.
Yeah, Ty Law is like at everything. He's like, hey, you need a Patriot represent? I'm available.
Hey, Teddy, can you do this? No. Tom, can you do this? No. Bill?
No.
Gronk?
Ty?
Well, not even Gronk, but even Troy Brown.
Yeah.
That's funny. Ty Law. A cool view for the flyover. The flyovers are always pretty cool.
Yep, it was awesome.
Yeah, but the Poppy thing, I watched the highlight and he seemed legitimately surprised.
Yes,
like he had no idea his daughter, which I thought that was pretty cool, and the fact that she did such a good job. I loved his comments after the game where he, all the big pressure situations, big games, big hits at the plate, and he said that was the most nervous he's ever been, which is I don't know, as we're dads now, I can start to understand that a little better. But as for the game itself. So I'm going to get right into it, and we'll get opening day and Red Sox and State of the Union and all that crap. John Farrell has to go. He needs to be fired immediately.
Yep.
That's my statement.
I'm pretty sure Mike said that quote on Monday. Not necessarily when he pitched it for Shaw, but just in general. He's like,
let's talk about the Travis Shaw thing.
Yep.
Travis Shaw is getting 2 at bats, and then he's getting pitch hit for in the 6th inning.
Yep.
I don't know. Is that weird to you? You're a young kid trying to establish himself.
However, I think Chris Young is going to be okay. He's not been good this first couple weeks, and they continue to go to him against lefties.
And you're trying to get him at I don't like John Farrell the way he answers questions because he just kind of gives you. He should be a politician, and I just feel like he's using the excuse that he needs to get Chris Young at bats, and I'm like. No, you don't.
I hated. I listened to him once, and he does who's he with, Dale and Holly, or he does the middle, the Wednesday, he's on every. Remember Francona used to do it.
Dale Holly Thornton, yeah.
Yeah, and they were basically, and this was only after the first game. This was the first week, and they were asking him about Rusney Castillo. They're like, all right, so you've got Holt, you've got Betts and Bradley. Bradley and Betts are playing every day. That's a no-brainer. And you've already said you're going to go with Chris Young against lefties, which you should. And they go, what are you going to do with Castillo? And they said, well, we're going to find a way to get him consistent at bats, and we feel that it's necessary that he's up here. And then they said, but you just said that, we all know Betts and Bradley are playing every day. You've got Holt, who you want to try and play as much as you can, and Chris Young. Where are the at-bats? And he's like, well, we're just going to find a way to mix them in there. And I'm like, no, what?
You know where he went wrong? Is he said we're going to have Chris Young play against left-handers.
Yeah.
Don't say that.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't say that. Because you have Castillo and Young as your left fielders.
Yep.
And then on opening day, or at least at Fenway, I can't remember opening day.
Holt was your left fielder.
Brock Holt is in left field.
And he's fine out there.
So maybe the whole Pablo thing threw a wrench into their plans.
I don't know.
But they just have like 2 or 3 guys that they shouldn't be on the team. And all right, so I say John Farrell should be fired. Like, obviously, I don't want anyone to lose their job, and I don't think he'd be jobless too long.
Nah, he'd find a pitching coach.
He'd be a pitching coach. He won't be another man. He won't. I'm sorry. He's not a manager. I don't. Who took Lucchino's spot? Sam Kennedy.
Yeah.
He came out and said the decision to have David Price start opening day on Monday at Fenway, the home opener, was Farrell's decision.
I'm not buying it.
And I just, if it is, like, I don't care whose decision it is, why in the world? Because it ended up backfiring, and this is where I was kind of going.
Yep.
Like, this is how the Red Sox think. It's like we were paying him $30 million a year.
Yeah,
he's a good pitcher. Everything's gonna go perfect on opening on a home opener.
That's what they
and
thought.
We're gonna get the fans excited.
Yeah,
and he shits the bed and lays an egg. And it's like nobody thought about nobody tapped him on the shoulder and said, "Hey, well, Mr. Henry, or hey, John, what if he sucks?"
Yeah,
and he goes 5 innings and gives up 5 runs and. That could backfire on us.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things. LeBranch was really good at it for Winnick.
Yep.
Like, win the game that you're playing and
Yep.
worry about
Tomorrow.
like in the tournaments or in double headers.
Yep.
He would always throw the dude the first game.
Yeah.
Because you got to get that first win.
Yeah.
And I just feel like when you start pushing guys back and they're this early. And I know it's early in the season, and we look at the records now and say, who knows what's going to happen.
Yep.
But I guarantee you're going to come to the end of the year, and there's going to be 1 or 2 games that you need to win, or 1 or 2 games you're going to finish out of whatever place.
Yep.
And these could be the difference. And I didn't like the Price thing. What do you think?
Going back to Farrell, the inconsistency. They pushed him back, and then after that day, they said, well, we want to have David pitch every 5th day, but we're going to push him back a day.
Puts his foot in his mouth.
Yeah, it's like, well, what? Look, I'll play devil's advocate.
Just to rewind real quick, Price should have started on Sunday.
Yep.
Because of that was his 5th day of rest.
Correct. That would.
But they decided because there was a rain out or something happened.
So basically, they didn't want to. They had a rain out, so they had to push everyone back. They had to push Kelly and Porcello back.
Yeah. And
they didn't want to not have Stephen Wright throw. My argument to that is he's your 5th starter. If you don't have to use him until April 16th, so be it. That's better.
Yeah.
Just with off days and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't care what you said. They went to them and said, hey, here's an opportunity to have David Price start on home opener.
Yeah.
And, hey, as a guy that had home opening tickets, I've been saying since they signed him, they got to find a way to get a couple rainouts in so they can, you get the schedule and you're doing the math and, whatever. So from that perspective, the inconsistencies, I'm going to play devil's advocate. Starting him on Sunday, they'd already won the first, no, you don't know this going in, but they already won the first 2 games. Marco Estrada was dominant. Now, yeah, you go for a sweep in Toronto. That's a big early series win or a sweep, no doubt about it.
Come down to a tiebreaker at the end of the year.
Where it's gonna hurt is they had an opportunity to have him throw twice against the Blue Jays that Sunday and this weekend coming up. Now they didn't. They threw him against the Orioles. Look, he didn't pitch good. He could have not pitched good on Sunday. That stuff happens.
Yeah, so then I laugh, all right, because
no matter what you say, someone in the front office tapped Farrell on the shoulder and said, "Hey, let's sit in front of the calendar, do the math. We have an opportunity to start David Price on the home opener."
No, I don't think let's do the math. It's like, hey, we have an opportunity now. We have a reason.
Yeah.
To start Price.
No doubt.
And Farrell's just a puppet. And
honestly, look, and I could be wrong and whatever. If he needs to get an extra day in July, so be it. But, I mean, it's like we used to joke around, like last year, second game of the year, Jacoby Ellsbury had an off day. You're two games in.
Yeah.
You know? You shouldn't be needing an extra day. You should be as a manager, you should be taking advantage of all these off days, whether you're playing in bad weather cities, just natural off days, of being able to skip your fifth starter as much as you can. And you know what? If you need to fly Stephen Wright down to Fort Myers and throw a knuckleball for 4 hours to some minor leaguers to keep them on, sharp, then so be it.
Yeah, that's why you're the fifth starter.
Exactly. Once Rodriguez comes back, you're not even going to be on the roster anymore.
I was laughing because Price shits the bed. The bullpen actually pitches okay.
Yep.
And then Kimbrel comes in.
Yep.
And right before he threw the pitch, I turned to my dad and I go, I'm just feeling a home run.
Yeah.
Strong lefty against a hard thrower. And literally my dad goes, yeah, me too. Next pitch. Almost hits the back
It was
wall of Fenway.
It was unbelievable.
Crushes, and the funny thing was Davis barely swung.
Yeah.
He just flicked
He's
the bat out there.
He's a strong dude.
3-run homer in the ninth. So I just thought, as far as opening day goes, and again, it's opening day and it's early in the season, but
hey, I told Mike when we were walking out, I said, hey, if our only two worries this year are Price and Kimbrel, we're going to have a great year. These two are going to be okay.
Well, you want to think that.
Kimbrel was really good last night. Did you watch him?
No.
Oh, he was lights out.
I like Kimbrel a lot,
yeah.
I do, and I think Price will be okay. But it's funny because we talked about it going into the season, areas of concern.
Yeah.
And I think my biggest concern was Hanley at first.
Yep.
He's loving life right now.
Yeah.
He's so under the radar that people forget he's there.
He picked the ball in the first inning.
Yeah.
Bogart's routine play, bounced it. Tough. I thought it was a tough hop, that in between that short hop. He picks it. Place goes crazy. Walking off the field, gives everyone a hat tip. This guy is just living the dream right now, because anytime he makes a decent play, he made a play running back and foul territory.
Yeah.
There's no pressure on him right now.
I think you forget. I mean, he is a good athlete. He played shortstop, and I feel like that's one of the more athletic positions on the field. And if you can play shortstop, I think you can. Yeah. You could do okay as long as you can catch.
Yeah.
So Hanley. Did he change his batting stance a little bit?
A little bit. I think he's a little more closed.
He's kind of crouched. So Hanley's okay. No worries there. He's hitting. Poppy's off to a good start.
Yep.
The whole Pablo Sandoval. So Pablo Sandoval today goes on not only does he lose his starting job to Travis Shaw, he's only had 6 at-bats this season. He gets put on the DL with a strained shoulder, and somebody brought it up on the radio, and I thought it was an excellent point.
Yeah.
The shoulder is the only part of a body that, you can't blame it on him. You can't blame it for
being fat.
Being fat.
Yeah. If
it was a knee, if it was a foot, if it was a back.
Yep.
It's instantly, you and I would say it's because he's overweight.
Yeah.
But they say he hurt his shoulder.
When I heard he went on the DL, I naturally thought, I thought it was a great idea, because I figured they probably went to him and said, hey, let's.
But just, this is how Red Sox is this.
Yeah. They don't give him an MRI.
We need a reason.
Yeah.
We're going to say you hurt your shoulder.
Yep.
Because you were taking too much batting practice to get better.
I did not hear that part.
Right? That's what Farrell said. I know he's been taking extra
BP.
And the best part was Farrell said, yeah, I know he's been taking, and then somebody asked Pablo, and he's like, no, I haven't been doing anything. I haven't been doing anything differently. they can't even talk to each other. I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's perfect Red Sox PR.
Yeah.
And basically what they're doing is they're sending him to fat camp.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, they told him he has to lose weight.
Go to Florida,
Yeah.
put one of those
Trash bags on.
trash bags on, go fucking run around on the field and lose 30 pounds.
Yeah.
But anyways, I get carried away with Pablo, but you were saying.
I thought it was just, hey, let's let this blow over a little bit,
Yeah.
And then there's, they won't let him on the field until he loses weight.
It's
Pablo won't-
unbelievable. And he's
Pablo-
making $20 million a year.
Pablo won't be happy till he's playing.
Just think about this: we're the grown ass man getting paid like literally $20 million a year, and he's like, "I want to play every day." And the team's going, the coach
No,
is going,
you're fat.
The coach is going, "No, you're fat. You have to lose weight." But I want to play, and the coach going, "Well, you have to go lose weight, then you'll play." It just sounds like you're like,
I'm calling my agent.
yeah, the agents get. It's unbelievable, and this is just also another classic scenario. You can toss this up there with Carl Crawford because
Yeah.
this is getting bad, and there are just certain guys who can't deal
Yeah.
with Boston and can't deal with the 50 media members and the saturation of media and the games in the locker room, and Pablo, he's probably like, listen, I'll give the money back. Like,
Yeah,
just
get me out of here.
Get me to San Diego. Get me to L.A. Get me to freaking Tampa. Send me somewhere where there is nobody like paying attention. Because, it's turning into a circus.
It's a disaster.
But I think they are trying to tuck it away and, put a little tent on it for now. Because, he's. Let's talk about pitching. So after David Price,
Yeah.
you want to fire. I want to fire Farrell. The day they picked up the option on Clay Buchholz, I said, "Damn you!"
Yeah.
Ugh, I can't. He could go and throw 5 no-hitters in a row. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. Eat his contract. Trade him for nothing. Get him out of here.
So here's
Get
classic.
him outta
So
here.
classic Clay Buchholz. First start, they're expected to be a 6:10 start. So it got pushed back due to weather.
Yeah.
And he said, well, it threw off, that 12-minute delay.
12 minutes.
12 minutes delay threw off, my warm-up routine. And I could not believe a reporter didn't ask that. Be like, hey, Clay, you were pitching second. What happens if they threw up a 7th spot and there was another 20 minutes?
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. It's like
Or they swing at the first 3 pitches and you're out there in 30 seconds.
as much
What a
as
little girl.
as much as I think the coaches and the managers and the front office have PR people over their shoulder,
Yeah.
these players got nobody talking to
Yeah.
them because they say like the dumbest things, and it's like Clay. I heard that comment was classic. And then him giving up like a 3-run bomb to Mark Trumbo, and be like, so a reporter asking, "Is that where you wanted that pitch?" And Buchholz going, "Yeah." I hit my spot. I wanted it right in that spot.
Oh, my.
And it's all right. Well, he kind of hit it like out of Fenway Park, like onto the Mass
not
Pike.
just into the first row.
Like I think it went onto the Mass
Yeah.
Pike. It hit the top of the sign on the, and it just cracks me up. And Buchholz is I just feel like we've been doing this song and dance with him for the last 5 years.
5. It's been almost 9.
9 years.
2007 was his opening. Was his
Holy
first when he threw the
smokes.
no-hitter.
I just, and he, what's funny is, so he was on the 2007 team.
Yep.
And he was on the 2013. So he's won 2 World Series. I don't even care. I don't care. Give me Stephen Wright any day of the week over Clay Buchholz.
They're always protecting him.
I don't get it. I don't get it. And who called him out a long time ago was Kurt Schilling.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone is really as fanatical as Schilling is with like the notes
Yep.
and in between innings and writing things down. But like he always commented how Buchholz didn't put in that extra work on the
Yeah.
off days. and he's just getting by on like his talent, which
Yep.
will get you to a certain point, but that certain point is like the fifth inning, you know? Like you can't when you're going like when you're leaving the game getting a standing ovation and it's the sixth inning with
Yeah.
2 outs, like dude, that's not
Giving up
good.
5 runs.
And know what's great too, Lou Maloney on the radio brought up these guys, all these guys after Price, they have to be all they have to be is not very good. He said how a quality start for a pitcher, 6 innings, 3 earned runs, that's a 4.5 ERA. You just have to be not very good. And then they can't even be not very good.
I texted you on Friday night when they made that comeback after Kelly gave up a ball that left the yard in about 1/10 of a second, a grand slam. I said, note to starters 2 through 5. 2 things. 1, be average. Be average.
just be below average.
Yeah, just go out there and give up less than 5 runs.
Yeah.
There's going to be a shot. And number 2, get the lead to the bullpen in the 7th inning.
Yeah.
If you get the lead to the bullpen, I'll take Tozawa or Smith, Uehara, and Kimbrel.
Yep.
I'll take those
Even
4.
Barnes has been pitching okay.
Yeah.
The other thing that's killing them too is like it's the second inning and they're down 3-0.
Yeah.
It's 4-2. It's like if you're gonna give up the runs in like the 5th or 6th inning. Like
I'll give them up gradually. I feel like they're giving up
One at a time.
Yeah. Kelly was out there, first inning 0, second inning 0, 7.
Yeah.
And you don't even give anyone a chance to get loose.
oh man, it's funny.
I've never seen a guy throw as hard as Joe Kelly and get squared up more than Joe Kelly does.
It's crazy, huh?
Yeah.
It's he's gotta be.
I don't know. I don't know.
And the thing that always got me too is like little guys who throw hard.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they're harder to hit because they're small and it explodes out of your hand and yeah he's got good stuff. He just can't. I don't know what his deal is. He must be tipping his pitches or something. So a lot of baseball left. A lot of baseball to be played. We've got a few minutes left. Wrap things up. Any other takeaways from the first couple of weeks of baseball? The Twins are. Let's recap our predictions.
The Twins and Braves are really bad, and the Cubs are really good.
My breakout team, one of my wild card teams in the AL were the Twins, and they're 0-9 right now. The Braves lost against the Nationals, so they're 0-9. The Mets can't seem to figure it out. The Phillies, surprisingly, they got a young kid. I think Victor, Velasquez, something.
Mm-hmm.
Got him in the trade to, which they kept showing the recap of the Phillies and the Astros trade, where Ken Giles got sent to the Astros. It was like the Phillies got like 5 pitchers.
Yeah.
So they robbed them blind, kind of. The Orioles.
7-1.
7-1. I was either hot or cold with. I couldn't get a good read on them.
Hey, you're right. Their bullpen's really good.
Their
I
bullpen
watched
is
them
really good.
Opening day live, they've got some power arms back there.
Oh,
And
man.
the guy, I can't remember who's the guy that came in the 7th. What's
I think I texted you when I was like,
Dominican guy, and he comes back here and comes here, and
he was jamming everyone
Yeah.
right in on the hands,
Yeah.
late movement, and they have who's the closer? Britton's the closer. Is it Mattis or Mats?
Mats, and they have O'Day still.
O'Day, but Mats is hurt,
Yeah,
so he's not even pitching. They got Dylan Bundy in the bullpen.
there's some power arms back there.
They've got a good bullpen. So, and the other thing, I'm glad you brought that up because Dan Duquette's the GM, and I think people forget that. And Dan Duquette's done a decent job. They've got kind of a win now mentality, right?
Yep.
Because Buck Showalter,
He's not getting any younger.
yeah, and the they I don't know, they're interesting. And Adam Jones hasn't been playing.
Nope.
So that team's interesting to me.
They can hit.
They can hit. They're gonna Mark Trumbo, I think, is gonna have a breakout
He
year.
did drop 2 fly balls on opening day.
That's all right. As long as he hits a home run every
Did
game.
hit one over the bullpen though.
Oh man. So we'll see. We'll see. This day in history, I got a couple things.
Go for it.
1925, first regular and you've been coughing. You sick?
Yeah, I'm a little sick.
Yeah, Kruger's been. I know you've been trying hard not to cough in the mic, so I'll have to detox.
Can you edit that?
The cough?
Yeah.
No, not with this equipment. Maybe someday when we're big time
And we still haven't gotten there yet.
and we have a staff.
Edit that.
Yeah, cut that, please. First regular season Cubs game broadcasted on the radio, 1925. Interesting. A couple big birthdays, baseball birthdays today. Two guys born in 1966, David Justice and Greg Maddux.
Really?
1941, all-time hits leader, Pete Rose. And then
He is
50.
50?
Yeah.
He's not 50 years old.
Who? Oh,
Rose.
Pete Rose isn't. Justice and Maddux.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Pete Rose is
75?
60,
Excuse
16, 75.
Yeah.
Good math. And then also quick wrestling. I got to get my wrestling talk in. Daniel Bryan and John Cena defeated Cesaro and Tyson Kidd at SmackDown tapings.
What did you think? We haven't talked since WrestleMania. What'd you think?
Real quick, that match was a year ago. It ended up being Bryan's last match because he retired this past February, concussion problem.
Yep.
But his actual last match was this day last year. WrestleMania was okay. It was. I watched the first hour or so, and then Walking Dead season finale came on. So
I saw Shaq was a part of it, and I'm like, oh man, I can't imagine the diehard wrestling fans love that.
there's a rumor that Shaq's going to wrestle the Big Show.
Really?
Because next year's WrestleMania is in Florida. So that's the rumor. It was pretty cool though because they filled up. What is that? What's Dallas the Cowboy Stadium? What's it?
AT&T?
Is it AT&T?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So they filled it like it was over 100,000 people. So the ramp to get down to the ring and the camera angles
Probably took forever to get there.
It was pretty cool. It was the camera shots and the colors and the lights. It was pretty impressive. As for the matches, the main event was okay. They had a couple. Stone Cold came out. Shawn Michaels, who's still in terrific shape. There were some cool moments.
Yeah.
There were some cool moments, but I mean they got a bunch of guys hurt, and yeah, it is what it is. So it's 60 minutes. Few things we didn't touch on. The Patriots releasing Easley, which I will give a shout out to Garrett for giving me a heads up. Notable players drafted in 2014 after Dominic Easley,
Yep.
who was the Patriots' first round draft pick.
Yep.
Jordan Matthews, Allen Robinson, Devontae Freeman, Jarvis Landry, Jeremy Hill. A little bit of a wasted pick there. They didn't even bother trying to get anything in return.
And I was reading today, he cleared waivers.
He cleared waivers. No kidding.
So no one picked him up.
There's got to be more there to the story.
I read a couple tweets
yeah.
from, guys stating sources, and wasn't one quote from a coach was that he's a 25-year-old in a 40-year-old man's body. Also read that he would just very immature, didn't take advice on how. So his biggest issue is he can't stay healthy. It was in college and now, and he won't take health advice. Not like how to make himself healthy. I also read someone said that when the Patriots were winning the Super Bowl, he was not at the game. He was on injured reserve, but like players still go to the game. He was in Las Vegas partying, and I also heard he was not well liked by his teammates. You heard it here first, straight from Bill Belichick's mouth.
Interesting. I haven't heard those things.
So to answer your question, yes, it seems like there was something else.
A first round draft pick. Titans get the first round, or Titans send the number 1 overall pick in this year's draft to the LA Rams, who the Pats play this year.
Yep.
They got a ton of draft picks back.
Got everything in return.
I think it was a good deal for Tennessee. Because where there's not a clear cut.
I heard this morning, someone said that the Titans were one of the swing votes to get the Rams to move to Los Angeles. So they might have done them a favor back.
This has just.
Or the NFL called the Titans and said you have to give the Rams your pick.
This has backdoor, shady. We talked about like Red Sox PR, and this is like a Red Sox move. This is a classic NFL, just random, makes no sense trade.
Yeah.
And because the Titans made out real good, and the Rams need attention. They're back in L.A. They got
a quarterback.
But there's no there's no one there. So
And Carson Wentz from North Dakota State or whatever.
Yeah, so. All right, well, before you get into too much of a coughing fit, we'll end this podcast. We'll come back strong next week. Thanks for listening. Any last comments or thoughts on anything? We covered a lot.
We did.
Golf, hockey, baseball, football, basketball. Wrestling. Is there any other sports we can cover real quick? No. Still waiting for CM Punk to make his UFC debut, which is never going to happen.
Manny Pacquiao retired.
That's UFC boxing. Yukon woman.
Yep.
75 wins in a row, 4 championships.
38-0 this year, right?
Yeah, 4 championships in a row. Pretty impressive.
Very impressive.
Are they good for the sport or bad for the sport?
Bad for it, but it's not their fault.
Yeah. All right. Well, Kruger, we'll catch you on the other side.
Sounds good, buddy.
See ya.
See ya.
There was a decorated general with a heart of gold that likened him to all the stories he told of past battles won and lost and legends of old. A seasoned veteran in his own time. On the battlefield he gained respectful fame with many medals of bravery and stripes to his name. He grew a beard as soon as he could to cover the scars on his face and always urged his men on. But on the eve of a great battle with the infantry and dream, the old general tossed in his sleep and wrestled with its meaning. He awoke from the night to tell what he had seen and walked slowly out of his tent. All the men held tall with their chests in the air, with the courage in their blood and a fire in their stare. And it was a gray morning and they all wondered how they would fare. So the old general told them to go home. He said, I have seen the others and I have discovered that this fight is not worth fighting. And I've seen their mothers and I will know other to follow me where I'm going. So take a shower and shine your shoes. You got no time to lose. You are young man, you must be living. Take a shower and shine your shoes. You got no time to lose. You are young man, you must be living. Go now, you are forgiven. But the men stood fast with their guns on their shoulders, not knowing what to do with the contradicting orders. The general said he would do his own duty, but he extended no further. The men could go as they pleased, but not a man moved. Their eyes gazed straight ahead, till one by one they stepped back and not a word was said. And the old general was left with his own words echoing in his head. He then prepared to fight. He said, I have seen the others, and I have discovered that this fight is not worth fighting. No, and I've seen their mothers, and I will know other to follow me where I'm going. So take a shower and shine your shoes. Oh, you got no time to lose. You are young man, you must be living. Yeah, take a shower and shine your shoes. Oh, you got no time to lose. You are young man, you must be living. Go now, you are forgiven. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Go now, you are forgiven. Go now, you are forgiven. Go now, you are forgiven. Go. Yeah. Go now, you are forgiven. Go now, you are forgiven. Go now, you are forgiven. Go.